Good evening. Up and about on Go Live now, if you fancy popping in. I don't know how long I'll be on, but just give it a bit of a go this evening and see how we get on. So head on over to youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits. Go to the live section and you'll see me there. So if there's anyone wants to pop on, you're more than welcome. If I don't get anyone, I'll turn it off. Cheers. Hello, Michael. How are you? Just getting it all set up. Not sure what to expect this evening. It's English League One, English League Two. So I'm just going to get everything organized so we can hopefully find ourselves a play or two, particularly in Germany, I think, if the two away sides were as good as they were last time. I'm just going to get rid of my AI music. I don't want to be inflicting that on you just yet. Get up the daily bulletins from this morning. In-Play Guru is up, and it's got a great new element to it. We've already got a goal from Wickham. So I'll just see if I can share the screen. Hello, Nick. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Enoch. Nice to see you from Ghana. Hope things are well with you. And hello, William. So I'll just get the entire screen up. And I might share the audio with you. No, I'll probably not. So I'll keep that to myself. You can hear the sounds as they come in. So you should be able to see what I'm seeing. I don't have, I'll better get the YouTube on my telephone so I can monitor it as it's broadcasting. Now there's a great set of filters at the In-Play Guru, which I'd like to show you this evening. So let me just get back to my home. I'm not sure how to get to the live videos. Let's have a look. Your videos. Go to live. And hopefully I can get it up. If not, I'll have to return now and again. No, I don't know how to find it. So here we go. We've got a live bit here. Great. I can see me now. And I can see you. Hello from Spain, from Lee. Nice to see you, Lee. Hola. So nice to see Bosun as well. So let's just get this up and running. This is the filter I'm talking about. So I'm going to get up to lots of the In-Play Guru this evening. The second one will have this filter up here, which is underdog is ahead. Okay, this will give you a link to the matches where the underdog is leading. Some of these are incorrect because no one scored yet. We've got Accrington Stanley and Newport County. That's incorrect as well. So it might need a bit of tinkering. This. Oh, there we go. More than X goals. I didn't ask for that. And or underdog is ahead. Favorite is ahead. Underdog is ahead. So let's just see if the underdog is ahead works today. And I've got this one for all of the other matches. The other thing we have to get up and running, Soccer 24. Keep an eye on the footy, and I think Leipzig and the Hoff, if they're anywhere near what they were last week away from home, should be comfortable wins for them. Got my odds on favourites, as you can see there. I don't like tinkering too much. Look at these 2.45, the favourite, that kind of thing. 2.25 already got a lead from Accrington. And I think the live standings will be a good thing to use this evening as well, because we're getting to the business stage of the season, and you can see the league positions fluctuate as the goals come in. Well, they're up to 39 points already. Wigan are a goal down, 0-0s elsewhere. So we're looking for this bunch here, particularly these two playing each other today, to take points off each other. It was more important for Luton to take the points off Huddersfield. Don't forget, these are already incorporating the single point for the draw. So Lincoln against Bradford, odds on at home. Odds on at home, already two of them in the bag. Plymouth a slight drift from earlier on. These two are up near the top. And we've also got in the second tier, Cambridge United, who were brilliant for traders last week. They were 2 goals. They were losing on 2 separate occasions. Hello, Andrew. Nice to see you. Losing on 2 separate occasions, and they came back and won 3-2. So that could be a bit of fun this evening as well. So this is the underdogs leading. I'm not sure how accurate it is just yet. That's incorrect, and that's incorrect as well. So I'm not sure if I've got the settings right or if it works with 2 separate in-play gurus up. So I'm just going to bring these Fiorentina and Como. If Como are in any kind of a mood today, if they're going to take this seriously, they're going to be scoring 2 or 3 goals, you'd think. They tend to really sort out these lower tier sides, that's for sure. So I'm not sure if we'll get anything this evening. I don't like playing English League 1, League 2, but it's worth popping on. Give this Go Live a bit of a test drive. And if you've got any ideas of your own or any angles of your own, pass them on to the live chat and I'll have a look into them for you. Not doing any National League South or National League or Premier League. There's no just no liquidity there, is there? Inverness Cali Thistle against Danhousemuir, odds on favourite today. And Queen's Park against Wraith, no real interest there. Scottish League 2 is not liquid enough, so I can get rid of a few of these. The last piece of the jigsaw, Football 24. So whenever you've got a session on, make sure you've got Football 24 up, and you can pick your leagues so you don't have to get dinged whenever there's a goal in the Guatemalan Premier Division, for example. Italian Coppa Italia, well, just in case Como are up for it. They might be up for it. We don't know. Fiorentina, certainly, I would expect to wriggle out of this competition and try to focus on staying up, having lost at the weekend when they desperately needed points. So these are the matches of interest today. We'll get dinged when the goals come in. You got that sound there. You probably can't hear that because it's I've got my system volume off, but I will alert you. I will hear. I better put this bad boy on. So already the odds on favourite Wickham are leading. Odds on Cardiff are leading. So there's no surprises as yet. And there we go. This is working now. You can see the underdog Clitheroe is a goal down to Trafford. And the underdog is Kilbride, a goal down to Spartan. So this seems to be picking up pace. This is a relegation 6-pointer in English League 1, Rotherham and Northampton. The angle with matches like this and with Huddersfield having to take points off Luton, or the other way round, Luton having to take points off Huddersfield, is we look at getting that late draw. So it looks as if I'm not getting the full treatment here. So I'm going to renew this and hopefully we'll get all of the other matches up, and we'll just refresh or reset the filter. It's a very useful tool to have if you're focusing purely on underdogs leading. It'll be a good angle for you. Watch out for the Hoff today. Their odds have dropped already. They usually score 3 goals when they are favoured by the market. Michael, I've got this heart thing which is blocking your comment. I don't know what this heart thing. I'll just see if I can. There we go. Get rid of that. Michael says I'll have to go to this because I've got something in the way. Waiting for over 0.5 first half goals to hit 2, and then backing that, and over 1.5 goals for the German games. If we get 1 first half goal, we have a free punt on that second goal. So that's an interesting element from Michael there. You know, with the Hoff, that you're going to get a really good chance of at least a goal before half time. But St. Pauli could be parking the bus this evening. Like Heidenheim did last week against Leipzig, it was 0-0 at half time. And then Leipzig went goal crazy second half. This is something I could expect today. And the old hobnob has gone down the wrong way. Oh, it's a bit better. So we might see a repeat of last week with Leipzig. They are playing the side right next to Heidenheim on exactly the same points as Heidenheim. 0-0 at half time. 3 goals second half for Leipzig. So we'll be looking at that momentum rising. Certainly if St. Pauli score today, I would be considering taking them on. I think that would be a good call this evening. So no goals coming at the moment. And just to have a look at who needs what today. I did this in the live, in the review preview this morning. This is all about these big boys up here, as you can see. Cardiff, the important thing is for Bolton to do something. They've got to break into that 50-point barrier. Stockport have to break into that 50-point barrier. They won't do tonight because they've already got a point for the draw, because this is live standings. You can see that 46 to 47. But this 50 points is where you're going to go up. You've got to get into that 50-point barrier. So the onus is, when these lot are fancied by the market, we should expect them to deliver. Bradford are a goal down. Let's see who Bradford are playing, and if it's an odds-on favourite match. They're playing Lincoln, and Lincoln are actually favoured today. So that's interesting. Bradford not favoured. 2 consecutive losses, 1-0 and 1-2. 3 losses in 4 matches, losing just at the wrong time, Bradford. It's not looking too hot for them. Lincoln, I can't see where they are. Is it Lincoln they're playing? Yeah, it is. Lincoln are second. There we go. I was looking all the way down here. So Lincoln are importantly in that top 2 berth there. So it's going to be, hello, Dave. Nice to see you. I think I said hello to you earlier. I'm not sure, but you can see that the top 2, both 1-0 leads at present. So Lincoln are playing Bradford. Bradford ideally need to take points off Lincoln today. Luton have to take points off Huddersfield today to breach that gap and to give themselves a shot at a top 6 berth there. And at the bottom, it's 4 relegation places, so Northampton had better be on their guard. Indeed, Burton, Wigan, a goal down, will have to be on their guard as well. Any side that can be caught, let's take a point away. 29 plus 3 is 32. So as high up as AFC Wimbledon are in the target line of Northampton today. Port Vale look out of it, don't they? I don't know who they're playing today. I think they might be away, but they don't look a side to trust at the moment. They look like a Sheffield Wednesday, the kind of side you can take on week in, week out. I've also got my betting goes, which I alluded to this morning, or in the, let's see if I can get that up for you, because I'm starting. It's a lot of work because I've got to get the results and then I've got to look for patterns. I don't really trust AI to completely find all of the patterns that my eye can find. For example, That second half goal number is very, very interesting. Look at this. So if any of you got any ideas how to exploit the second half scoring, I'm just writing down the number here. Look, consistently we're seeing second half goals. And this is where you go to odds checker. So you go somewhere like here, football accumulator, over 2.5 goals, find any matches which aren't live, because are live, the odds are going to go down. Pre-kickoff, any matches that are odds of 1.6 or lower. Okay, 1.6 or lower. Now, maybe it's just a run of these occurring, but can you see the amount of second half goals there are? We do get the odd 0, and you can, I suppose, work on that somehow in foregoing your liability. How do we exploit this? That is the question. Do we focus on matches which are draws at half time? This might be a 1-1, you see. Really, I should be making a note of the scoreline at half time as well, so we can target any draws. That could be an angle in as well. But you can see the amount of matches here where we see second half goals, and quite substantial in some cases as well. 3s, 2s, you get the odd 0 here. That was a 0-0 Selja, Volendam a 0-0. So any ideas? I had an idea, lay the correct score as you see it at half time, but the liability will be quite high. But are we going to get so many coming in that we will make a profit? Look at all of this. Look at this run here. It's quite something, isn't it? These are all second half goals for any over 2.5 goal match, which is 1.6 or lower, i.e. the market fancies goals. We get the odd 0, but it seems to be a collection. I don't know if the bookmakers do second half goal scoring or not. And what you're going to do when you get 2 consecutive, that's the problem with laying the correct score, isn't it? Because it's going to be quite hefty. This would be any other. No, it wouldn't. It depends what the scoreline is. So I might have to do a bit of work and add in a scoreline element here. So if you've got any ideas that catch your eye, or you're thinking about any ideas, this is very recently. Ayokspor, Turkish Yorkshireman yesterday, 3 goals second half. Tun, 5 goals second half. 3 here, 3 from Benfica at 1.55 pre-match. So it's really interesting stuff, isn't it? I think we can move that up. So any ideas? And while it's a bit quiet at the moment, I'll just take you on a journey. These are over 2.5 goals at odds checker, where the odds are 2 or higher. Now, this is a bit more detailed. We've got a goal coming in. Newport and Accrington is a 1-1 draw at present. So these are over 2.5 goal at odds of 2 plus. You can see already over 0.5 goals. If you can wait 20 minutes, this is what I'm going to be looking at. Waiting half an hour or more. Maybe you can get over 0.5 goals at decent odds if you're waiting half an hour or more. That might be an angle in. Both teams to score. Again, color coding it like this can give me some pattern seeking, for example. You can see the amount of over 0.5 goals, but the odds are going to be so short. How do we exploit this frequency of over 0.5 goals? How do we exploit it? That's the question. I can ask Gemini, I think, because the Gemini is linked already to the testing lab. So that will be something for me to look at, but I need to get all the results sorted out there. Plenty to catch up on as well. I do half an hour a day catching up on each of these, so it does take a while to come in, but it's going to be interesting to find out. Maybe 0-0 here is the angle, like that Fibonacci. You back the 0-0 in the halftime score market with Fibonacci staking. because you're going to get over evens, I think, about this. So Fibonacci staking is perfect for over evens. This is fascinating. You go to here, and I'll just check the gold coming in. Don't think we've missed anything of any great importance there. This is match results and both teams to score. I focus on anything 9 or higher. I don't know why, it just came to me. And again, color coding it. What interests me here is the prevalence of a 3-1 scoreline, which you can get normally at odds of 20 plus. Look at this appearing here. I'm also going to color code the 2-1 scoreline as well. See how often that appears. Maybe you can do a Dutch of 3-1 and 2-1. Look at that 3-1 again. 3-1 here. 1-2. Note, this would be 20-1 or something like that. So you can see. I don't know how frequently it will appear. I've got a bit of catching up to do, but 2 of them there. I need to know the longest losing sequence as well. But if you're backing at 20-1 and they're popping up like this, they're quite something, aren't they? Close there with a 3-2. So this is a match result and both teams to score anything over 9, home or away. So as you can see, I've got a whole raft of results all the way back from November to catch up with. We've got a few 2-1s coming in there. 4-1 there, so just missing on that 3-1. Unless you could get a trade out on the 3-1 there. Got a 1-3 coming in there and a couple of these 2-1s as well. You can see a strong prevalence of both teams to score here as well. Considering one of these teams is usually a very strong favourite that could get decent odds. You might get over evens. It normally both teams to score market is 1.8 to 2. So this is all stuff I'm working on in the background. I want to get you a few of these to run as a bet and go idea for you. Let's look at the prevalence of 2-1s here. You might even include 1-1s. I'll see the frequency. There's another 3-1 here, Tunisia. So that's going to go in the old green book there. Another 3-1 here. Don't forget, these are about 20-1. So how often they occur is quite something. 1-1s and 2-1s, I think, also catch my eye as well. There's another 3-1 here. That's another 20-1 in the bag. Followed up by the Burnley one. 4-1 there. You might have got to the 3-1, of course, or it might have been 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, that kind of thing. But another 3-1 here as well. So plenty for me to look at for you, but it does take a lot of time and effort to do. And I might start doing this in simulation mode just to see the staking and when the 3-1s do come in, whether there's a trading habit. Look at this prevalence here of 3-1s. 1, 2, 3 of them in the matter of 5 matches. Now imagine if you're backing them, and another one here with Granada. So it's quite something, isn't it? Another 3-1 here for Benfica. So look at the amount of both teams to score as well. It's quite something as well. So I'm excited with this one. But I'm just, is this pattern going to continue? Look at these 2 consecutive 3-1s there. Another one here. And it just keeps occurring. And maybe I'll show you a 3-1 market today. Let's go to Cambridge. And you can get an idea of what 3-1 looks like. 3-1 at 32s. You see the odds there. Pre-match, 17.5. So you can see why I'm excited with this. Another 3-1 there. You can do around the 3-1, I suppose, as well. It's all dependent on the odds. We've got a goal coming in, Rotherham and Northampton. So just pay attention to the market there. Rotherham and Northampton. Which league is this? English League One. So we can have a look, see if there's an important odds move there. Rotherham and Northampton. Northampton have just moved up with that win, with that lead. Must take points off your nearest rival. So this would have been ideal for a late lay the draw. Look at the importance of those 3 points now from 29 from the relegation zone, outside the relegation zone. So they might be a tough team to break down now. That would be something for you to think about if you're looking at Rotherham equalising. This is the importance. You saw Darmstadt the other day. Absolutely emphatic, weren't they? Second half goals because they were aiming for second place. I've got to unmute this, sorry. That's why I'm not getting an update. Plymouth against Mansfield, 1-0. 2.05 home favourite. Looks like the odds-on shots are delivering at the moment. Wickham and I think Cardiff were ahead as well. So let me bring up the rest of English League One, English League Two, if I can find it. I don't know where it is. That's odd. So let me just see if I can find the rest of English League One, English League Two. I hope I haven't. I'm going to reset all of the filters. I don't have any layout selected, so I can't find the other leagues. Maybe I've hidden them by accident, have I? Unhide 41. Maybe I was pressing H instead of P, like this. Yeah, I think I was pressing H instead of P. So let me get these up into the watch list. So we will get an auditory alert when there's a goal, and we can keep an eye on the in-play stats as they come in. All very quiet in the Bundesliga at the moment. So Michael's delaying is working. The longer you delay, the better the value. So that's a goal in the Reading-Exeter match. But look at Lincoln against Bradford, top four clash, dominating that. Plymouth dominating that with a 74 on the momentum. Rotherham and Northampton. Well, Rotherham started brightly, but they must take points off your nearest rival. Northampton will be parking the bus. And the mighty Hoff are up and running. So I don't know if Michael got the odds that he was seeking. Whenever you see the Hoff this season, even at not strong favouritism odds, which they weren't today, 2.05, they still deliver 3 goals or more. Quite something. And Fiorentina have the opening goal against old Perry Como. Could be a match worth focusing on. So the mighty Hoff have the opening goal. That's likely to be the end of that match, I would suspect. They were similar odds last week against Eintracht Frankfurt and were just superb. Just delivered. Having a hell of a season, the mighty Hoff. So we're going to have a look at Como. See what kind of a mood Como are in. Whether I can find the match or not. It's a difficult one to unpack because Cesc Fabregas's side are aiming for Europe. I don't know if they want this kind of a distraction. I don't think I can find the match. There it is. So Fiorentina have the lead. 4 shots to 1. It does suggest that Como are not quite up with it because Como ordinarily, you notice with the stats straight out of the blocks, 2-0 leads before half-time against Lazio and Torino. Two of the kind of teams that they much better than Fiorentina. Blackpool and Stockport is 0-1. Anything of interest there? Well, not really. We've got a red card now, Huddersfield and Luton. This could be important. I'll just turn the volume down because it's you can't hear it, but it's right in my ears. Now, Huddersfield and Luton. We already know that Luton must take points off Huddersfield today. So surely to goodness, they've got to take advantage. Bromley have scored against Crewe Alexandra, another odds-on favourite at home. But it's this Huddersfield red card, the Terriers, which interests me. Because if we look at the table, it will show you that it is a must take points off your nearest rival match. So surely Luton must put their foot on the gas and do something here. An extra 2 points for Luton, take them to 42. Don't forget, Huddersfield will drop a point if Luton win. They'll go down to 42. These are originally 39, plus 3, they'll go to 42. Goal difference will still mean that Luton might be outside the playoffs, but they must be equal on points with Huddersfield today. They've got to take advantage. They lost recently to Plymouth. That was a 1-0 and a 1-0 to Exeter. So they don't like going down the south-west. 2-2 against Lincoln. So they've got a couple of goals in the bag, Luton. This is something they must do this evening. So we're going to have a look, make sure that their momentum rises, the brown rises, make sure the shots on, shots off, and corners all rise. So it's a league, or it's a match worth looking at. It's just must-win territory for Luton Town. Must win. And the draw is already reasonably low, which is a big surprise to me, relative to the need for Luton Town to get something here. Oh, have I missed the kick? Is that a Luton goal? Because that was 3.1, relatively low with a red card in play. I wonder. No, it's fine. Are you tempted by that 3.1 or 3.05? What you can do, you can place your bet if you want. Suspend it again. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. And look at this, 103.99 from Plymouth. Looks like they could get that second goal before halftime and put this one to bed. So the in-play stats are starting to warm up nicely. I don't know why this keeps getting suspended. You can see the rise now in momentum from Luton Town. The Hatters have to get something out of this. It's a must win at this stage of the season when you're playing 10 men so early in a match and away from home. Got to get something out of it. Otherwise, you're in a spot of bother. Playoffs are looming for them. Let's take a walk through the in-play stats. Warming up nicely, Newport and Accrington Stanley. The onus really on Newport to get 3 points today in a match which is 2.3 the favourite. So not the strongest favs in the world, Accrington Stanley. St. Pauli parking the bus, but you can see Leipzig are starting to warm up nicely. They are by far the better side for me on paper. I thought that was an absolute gift from the gods earlier on. Anything over evens. I was looking at the possibility of a Germany away double today. Looks like they're in a going mood, but it is half time. Now, do you think that Leipzig will do what Leipzig did last week? Let me show you the timings of the goal and where Heidenheim are in the league. This is important because it's a carbon copy of last week's match. So we can bring up Leipzig. And you can see Heidenheim are here on 13 points. Last week, it was a 0-0 at half-time. Got a few goals coming in. 0-0 at half-time, and the first goal came in the 62nd minute, 68th and 70th. So are you willing to wait a little bit longer in the second half and then lay the draw? Do you want to lay the draw straight away at the second half and hope for a repeat of last week's efforts from Leipzig. St. Pauli will be parking that bus. Got a 0-0 in the Hamburg derby. And there's Perry Como's equaliser against Fiorentina. As I say, on paper, didn't really see much there, but on paper, they should be beating them, scoring 2 or 3 goals today, if they're up for it under Cesc Fabregas, who's having a brilliant term as manager of Como. He's really got them like a mini Arsenal, tough to score against. So we've got a couple of matches of interest now. That'll be Huddersfield and Luton. 3 shots off, 3 corners for Luton. You can see the rise now in that momentum. Now, if you wanted to have a tickle, half-time market, you could capture a goal if it's liquid enough. It doesn't look liquid, does it? If this starts to get to 1.25, you could start to perhaps, if you fancied just putting a fiver at risk, you could start drip laying at 1.25 and lower, but you can see the gap between back and lay odds. It's quite something, isn't it? So that's an option with the momentum rising now for Luton. Or you could wait for a 0-0 at half time and then possibility of laying that draw in the hope that they will deliver the win that they need to for a scenario like this. But you can see the lack of liquidity in the half-time market. It's always a concern, isn't it? There's no market forces at all. This is flitting in and out. This should be 1.3, 1.31. There's just no market forces at all. But if you want to start laying 1.19 or lower, you could put it all in. So you've got a 1.19, 1.14 to win a fiver, 1.09, you can up that to 11, 1.06, 1.06, you can up that to something like 17. That keeps your liability to a quid. And you could leave all that there and see whether a goal arrives. If it doesn't, the most you'll lose will be about 4 quid. So it's well worth it now that you see the momentum is rising for Luton. If they can capture that goal before half-time, it won't have cost you your full liability on laying the draw, just in case they make it a 0-0. So it's warming up nicely, that one. It's going to catch up with the goals coming in. I've got to go to the My Games here, really. These are the odds-on favourites today. So Bolton is 0-0 against Burton. And Swindon have scored against Notts County. Cardiff and Barnsley, not sure about that. Lincoln 1. So all the odds-on favourites so far delivering at home apart from Bolton. In English League 2, nothing from Cambridge United, who really came alive last week after conceding twice the lead, came back to win 3-2. So should be reliable today. MK Dons 1.53, 0-0 at the moment. They are playing relegation threatened side. That's why you're getting, like the St. Pauli match, you're getting a parking of the bus at the back. So no surprise there, really. Working our way down, you can see it's dominant momentum from Leipzig in the first half. Are they going to follow up what they did last week? If you think so, and quite simple job of laying their draw, but do note this: 0-0 against Mainz, 0-0 in a friendly against Werder Bremen, 0-0 against Hamburg. But I think the Dortmund match could be the kind of thing that Leipzig aim for. Northampton must get the winner today. Northampton must get the winner to stay above the relegation zone, but they're not strongly fancied. It's actually Rotherham, other relegation 6-pointer. It's actually Rotherham who are fancied themselves. Sorry, I'm missing some other messages. My apologies. Huddersfield red, indeed. Soccer Scanner's too slow on the updates, says Enoch. Chesterfield has no 0-0 away this season. Salford has 2 0-0s at home. Sorry, the live chat didn't update itself. On the Leipzig game, going to back over 2.5 goals on 50, 55th and 60th minutes and then trade on a goal, says X marks Splot. Just missing Lane first half goals at Colchester, says Stuart. So sorry for missing all that. I thought the comments would update automatically. So I'm going to have to do that manually. Bolton are warming up nicely. On a momentum at least. They do need to get something. So do Burton Albion. Plymouth and Mansfield is 1-1. That's not really going Plymouth's way, you would have thought. With that kind of XG, they would have kept the lead there. So for me, possibility of laying the draw in the Leipzig match, but St. Pauli have had a few too many 0-0s recently. Their last 3 draws were 0-0 in all competitions. That's a slight concern. So I've got to be a little wary with that, or at least be cautious and have an exit point, or cover the 0-0 at half time. I'll show you how to do that. We've got a few matched now, as you can see, 1.09, 1.06 to be matched. Liability very low. You could do that with a tenner instead of a fiver, and you'll have a better return. Leipzig, how do you cover that 0-0? Well, if you're willing to sacrifice, you could be laying over 0.5 goals at the start of the second half. It's going to cost you a tenner, but if you get an early goal, you're going to lose that tenner. Boom, gone. Okay, but it covers a 0-0 in case St. Pauli part the bus. The advantage of this is you can sit on it then. The lower the draw odds, you can lay with a full £40 liability. And the lower the odds, the bigger the return. So that's something for you to look at. You can do what X marks the Splot is doing on the Leipzig game, backing over 2.5 goals on the 50th, 55th and 60th minute, which fits in with the Heidenheim scoreline last week, 62nd minute for the first goal there against a very similar side to St. Pauli, i.e. in a whole heap of bother on 13 points. But I'm just worried with that 0-0 sequence. But if you're doing that kind of drip backing, you're going to get decent odds and you can keep your liability low. Nothing doing from Rotherham. It's rather gone off the cliff for them, hasn't it? Odds on favourite Wickham are a goal up. 0.14 XG for Wigan, who need points as well. Nothing much for them. Notts County and Swindon is 1-1. Plymouth Argyle, Mansfield is 1-1 as well. 2.05 the favourite here, 14th against 11th. Mid-table mediocrity for these two. No real carrot or stick. Stevenage and Peterborough. Peterborough have been a difficult side to read. Odds on favourite at home. And they lost. Odds against, or not even favourite last match. And they won 0-2. So they're difficult to read. They weren't even favourite in that match. And I was tempted to take them on because Wickham's stats were so good. So for me, an unreadable side means an untradeable side. You just can't get the angle in. Bolton, are they going to score? Well, we can have a look at English League One to see whether Bolton and their opponents have any second half stats to help us out. So let's have a look. English League One. So that will be this one here. Bolton and Burton Albion. Just wait for this to load. Come on. This is what you should be doing for your 0-0s at half time. Head off to soccerstats.com. View stats and matches for both teams. The initial thing to scroll down at would be the goal times, or indeed the challenge table, because you want to know whether Bolton get held by strugglers. They had that 0-0 with Northampton. They're playing Burton Albion today. That was a 3-0 loss. So they've got a bit of revenge in the air. Burton Albion against the top sides. Cardiff make it 2-0 against Barnsley. Did have a 0-0 against Huddersfield, but have conceded in each match against the top 5 away. Next thing to look at. is the goal times. Home for the home side, away for the away side. So we've got about a 50-50 really for Bolton. It's pretty standard, 5-4-5, so it's well spread through each quarter. But notably, this is where Burton Albion, the wheels fall off. 13 of 19 goals conceded away from home have come in the second half. Very troubling for them. So that in itself could signify a play second half in the Bolton-Burton match. So we'll have a look at that one. And you could do another one of these if you want, but if you pick up an early goal, you'll be throwing liability away. But if you're willing to take the hit on the lay the draw, or if you've got another angle in, could be a correct score angle. Laying over 0.5 goals here, sorry, over 0.5 is just a little bit higher than the other match. But with so many goals conceded second half from Burton Albion, you might want to just go straight in with your full liability, whatever that might be. You've always got yourself an out, which could be a third of liability as loss if things are not going your way. Check the in-play stats as well. Have these two been delivering? Well, we haven't had a shot on target. I'm just going to put the old vibration plate on, get some exercise. So we haven't had a shot on target, have we? For either Bolton or Burton. No shots on target. 1.05 XGs, obviously the home side delivering the better attempts, 6 shots off target, but look as if they could get a goal at some point. Fleetwood Town against Harrogate is a 0-1. We've got a suspended market. One of my matches of interest. That might be the half-time scoreline. So nothing doing there. So let's have a look through as the second halves will be beginning soon for St. Pauli and Leipzig. If you wanted to mirror last week, that will cost you less, considerably less. A 0-3 at 26s. That, if you're not happy on laying the draw, you could look to win a specific amount here, like that. And you might get a tradable outcome if we get an early goal. But of course, it's there we go. That's plenty to work with. If they can mirror what happened last week against Heidenheim. But you're looking for an early enough goal, or you're looking for the market to think it'll be 0-2. Doncaster against Leyton Orient 1-0. That's an option. Other option, like we did with Hoffenheim and Frankfurt, is to go into one of these markets like this. And here's an experiment for you. We've already got this one here, laying over 0.5 goals. That's so you can lay the draw at shorter odds if it stays 0-0. What you can do, you can lay over 0.5 goals, back over 1.5 goals. So I'll show you that. The idea being, if we get an early enough goal, that will be lost. But hopefully, the profit made here will exceed the loss on the covering of the 0-0. So that is a neutral option if you like neutral playing. And you can work your way up the markets then. You could lay over 1.5 goals, back over 2.5. But if you're leaping up like that, you're going to get a quicker loss on this if it remains 0-0. So you can lay over 0.5 goals, back over 1.5 goals. And if you get an early enough goal, the profit should outweigh the loss, because you're guaranteed a loss, of course, when a goal comes in. So there's plenty of ways. I'm trying to experiment with that. There's correct score option as well, like the 0-3. Maybe the 1-3, just in case Leipzig score a goal, because if St. Pauli score a goal, because Leipzig will have to score 2 to get a win at the very least. Been a bit quiet. That's what you'd expect of a relegation threatened side at home, parking the bus. There is this website here if you want to follow the matches. It's called camel1.live. It's completely free. I'm not going to show you, of course, because I'm broadcasting at the moment. But you just click on this and you can watch the matches. They will be buffered, but it'll give you an important feeling about whether Leipzig are on top, rather than relying solely on the only 2 shots on target. So the Hoff got no interest in that now that they've scored, unless it becomes 1-1. So we'll work our way through. Rotherham and Northampton don't have a strong opinion, but Rotherham are fancied. And again, with this one, you might want to go for a 2-1 and a 1-2. If you don't have a feeling, you realise that these two are a couple of dodge pots, you could go for a 2-1 and a 1-2. And if you can get that goal, it covers whoever scores the next goal. So that's an option. That's the last of our odds-on favourites, I think. MK Dons 1-0 up against Bristol Rovers. Cambridge United been a bit quiet. We can have a look at their in-play stats. Let's go through the odds-on favourites. Bolton and Burton, we know already. Burton concede the vast majority of their goals second half. So we don't mind that, because if they do score, the draw will flatline and you can cash out. So that's fine. That's the beauty of a neutral play like that. So St. Pauli and Leipzig, we know very well the second half is beginning. So are you going to lay the draw now? Or are you going to do what X marks plot is doing and waiting for a little bit longer to get better odds on the over 2.5 goal market, which is a neutral play, of course? Or you could do what I've done, cover that 0-0, hope it remains 0-0 till at least the 55th, 60th minute, and then you could lay the draw for a free punt with full liability. You get better odds. Of course, it'll be a bit of a nightmare if St. Pauli score the first goal, because you'll be expecting a draw then at the very least. Wycombe and Wigan. Well, Wigan have been putting in a good shift, but 19th in the league is a bit concerning. 1 shot on 3 off and 3 corners, 40 attacks to 15. It's been a good show, and you can see the brown has been above the blue. Plymouth look as if they should have really taken advantage when the momentum hit 100. XG is excellent, but a sloppy concession and 2 sides in unbeaten recent form. So it's very difficult to pick holes in either of these two. Stevenage and Peterborough will be a fight for the 3 points today, because they are just outside the playoff places in English League One. Is that draw layable? Well, we can do what we did before. Stevenage and Peterborough. Have a look at this one. So you go up to English League One here. Stevenage and Peterborough. Where are you? Down here. Just wait for the website to load. Just take a little bit of time. Now I've got to reload it. I'll get rid of a couple of these tabs. Stevenage and Peterborough. Come on, don't be shy. Slower than Matt Letizia, this. So we'll view stats and matches for both teams. Off we go down here. And we're just going to look at the goal time table like we did before. Nice and quick. Look where these two are relative to each other. There's only been 1-0 at home against the top 21 for Stevenage. And for Peterborough, well, they've got an awful loss record away against the top 10. As I've said to you before, they're a tough team to read. At odds on favourite, they lost as underdog last week. They won 2-0 away at Wycombe. So they're a tough team to read. Obviously, season long, they've been awful against the top 10 away. Is that pattern going to continue today? Because it's heavy conceding by Peterborough, isn't it? So that's one thing for you to think about if you're going to take that draw on second half. Goal times as well. 69% of Stevenage's goals have been scored second half. That's quite something, isn't it? Is that enough for you to pin your hat on allay the draw second half. Looking at Peterborough away, 62% of their goals scored away have come second half, 50% conceded second half. So, yes, it looks like these two rarely do 0-0s. 7 0-0s at half-time at home, though. So this is not a surprise at all, but only 2 full-time for Stevenage. This is not a surprise pattern. Okay, 4 0-0s at half-time away for Borough, none at full-time. So that could be another one, Stevenage and Peterborough. So the longer we wait here, for example, with Leipzig, the draw odds will get lower and lower. But of course, we're going to miss if we get an early goal. So are you tempted with Peterborough? The problem I have with Peterborough is they are inconsistent. I don't like inconsistent teams. Too many hobnobs before a live stream. You could take the hit here if you wanted. The liability getting a bit high though, because if you get an early goal, or you could just lay the draw and hope that these seasonal stats will find their way, or you could see that Peterborough concession rate against the top 10 away and go even lower here. That's far more appealing, isn't it? Keep your liability low while having a reasonable chance of a return. So that's an option. Over 2.5 goals. You could lay over 1.5 goals as well if you wanted. So there's plenty of options. This would capture a falling apart like they do against the top 10 away. And it wouldn't cost you much to find out. 3 goals, 7 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals. It could be they're under new management. I'm not sure. I think they're under Fergie still, aren't they? But a recent loss to one of the big boys, 5-2, maybe suggesting that pattern continues against big sides. But a 0-0 last match for Stevenage needs a context. It was Bolton. And Bolton are in 3rd place. Just getting a dead left leg on my vibration machine. So that's another goal match you might want to look at if you want to keep your liability low. Just over 2.5 goals, just in case Peterborough, the wheels fall apart as they did recently against Lincoln. Was it Lincoln? Yeah, 5-2 loss. That's very recent history, and it maintains that really poor pattern for Peterborough. So let's have a walk through any others. 8th v 9th as well. That's motivation. Got to take points off your nearest rival. Hoff, I've got this bloody heart thing emoji in the way. It's making it difficult for me to see the last message. Hoff red card and they score again, says Stuart. I didn't see that pop up. That's there they go, the mighty Hoff. I told you, Stuart, there'd be 3 goals from the mighty Hoff today. They're highly likely now to cock this one up. We'll have to bring this match back up, I think, but I'm running out of space. I'm going to get rid of Fiorentino and Como. I would expect Como to do a number today, but it's not going to be top of the watch list, and bring back the Hoff match. Thank you for the update. I've got this damn heart emoji right where your writing is. It says Hoff red car, and that's it. So I have to go to the computer. But you got that second goal. So as I said, watch out for this pattern with the Hoff this season. Even when they're not strong favourites, they were 2.05 today. They keep delivering 2 or 3 goals. It really is an amazing pattern. And I did say in my video this morning, you might want to be backing the 2 away sides today. We're up to the 55th minute, 0-0, and we haven't had a shot on target from Leipzig. We were just a little bit concerned with those 3 0-0s in the last 3 draw matches for St. Pauli. But really, we should be looking at that Dortmund match. as indicative of what Leipzig can do. But every moment we're waiting is better odds on the draw. So you can have a look at the draw is now favourite. So how long do you wait? Because I can do a full liability lay of the draw now. That would bring that up to £26 minus that tenner there. But I'm hoping to get, can I get to the 60th minute? They scored in the 62nd against Heidenheim. So that could be an important first port of call. Let's have a look at our odds-ons. So we're waiting for second half for Bolton and Burton. We know Burton conceded 9 goals second half away from home this season. So that could be something to look at on paper, at least. Cambridge United were very, very impressive last week, but their shrews have kept them very quiet. Let's see if we can find Cambridge and the shrews. I can't find them. They must be down here somewhere. So let's see if I can find Cambridge and Shrewsbury. I can get rid of the Doncaster match now, and that will free up a little bit of space. That was a 2-0. Cardiff, I think, might be job done. Still looking at Luton as well to do something second half. So let's bring up the match we were looking at. English League 2, Cambridge and the Shrews. There we go. 2 shots on, 2 shots off. It's very unlike last week's emphatic performance when I think it was 0-1 and then 1-2. They came back and won 3-2. So it was quite something last week. Barnet, odds-on favourites, 0-0 against Tranmere. I don't know why they're odds-on today, but we can have a look at that one. Barnet and Tranmere. I think that was League 2. I think Barnet are top of the tree, aren't they? That could be the reason they're odds-on favourite today. But I thought that league position was 13th, so I'll confirm that. So this is what you can do with your 0-0s, particularly at this stage of the season, because you know that the form is in the book. You've got patterns, you've got season-long patterns to work off, and you're hoping that these patterns continue. For example, look at Tranmere. They don't look too hot, do they, at the moment? 3 wins in 4 for Barnet, but they are scoring before half-time, so this is a rare 0-0. The last time they had that was away at Newport, and that ended 0-0. Note this, scored in the last 13 away matches. No draw in 10. 0-0 is a draw, so you can pick up these little nuggets if you fancied these lay the draw ideas. 13th against 17th. It's a good winning habit, really. A couple of losses against the Shrews and Fleetwood, but a good 2-goal winning habit against 14th and lower. 2 goals against Tranmere last time they met. Tranmere, well, they don't have 0-0s, and they do score. They have scored in all away matches this season, Tranmere. They have scored and conceded in every single match against the top 16 away from home. So again, that could be another one for you to look at, laying that draw. This has gone down from 2.42 now, which I last looked to 2.36. Gone up just by a couple of quid to 28 now. So you can see my sit on it idea. The longer you can wait, the longer you wait, the bigger the return. If you just avoid a score draw, that's all this is. If you can lay the draw and avoid a score draw, you will make a profit. So this Barnet and Tranmere, it's got a very strong both teams to score habit. Is there any value there? Huddersfield have scored against Luton. That is troubling for Luton Town, but it could be an angle in for us. Awful performance from Luton Town. But again, if you lay the draw, it'll be a break even because the wrong team has scored. But if you get that equaliser, the odds are going to move massively up because of the impact of the red card. You can see both teams to score no is 1.45. both teams to score yes, which is a Tranmere habit, is only 3.2, which is a bit low. 2.5 goals is the same as that. And again, you could dip your toe in if you don't want to lay the draw with a full liability. You could dip your toe in. So that's an option, particularly in this league. I don't like a full liability lay the draw in this league. So you could have something like that, or you could wait while it's 0-0 for a while. Or you could lay over 0.5 goals, back over 1.5 goals. We can give that a go, perhaps. Let me show you that. So laying over 0.5 goals covers the 0-0. Do that with my £40 stakers liability. Don't forget, I'm just experimenting here. I haven't formulated this idea yet. Now I can... It's 1-2 now. Werder Bremen have a goal back against the mighty Hoff. £39.20. Now I can use that £39.20 to back over 1.5 goals. Now, if we get the usual 1-1 and we get it early enough, we could make a profit far exceeding that loss. So let's see how this one turns out. At any rate, if it ends 0-0, we've got it all covered. But if we get a late 1-0, that's when we start hitting the buffers, because you're going to lose that and you're probably going to be in a lost position there as well. So it's all about getting a goal at the right time. So we'll see. Look at that. Both teams have scored in every single match against the top 16 this season. And there's the opening goal for Bolton. Did you lay that draw? You know, Burton concede. Did I lay that draw? Probably not, because I'm doing this. I'm getting distracted. But I gave you that one. I hope you got on. And that's something you can do in the second half from now on, unless that goal's been disallowed. No, it hasn't. So you can see the draw odds have risen. You lay there because they concede second half goals, 9 of them. You back up here. Lay there, back there. Not too shabby. So let me just fix my screen now, because I think I've made a bit of a rick. So let me just, that's it. Sorry, when I get these graphs up, it spoils the whole screen. So let me get back to the entire screen. So I hope you laid the draw there. Let me know. Stuart was on Werder Bremen, and I've still got that bloody heart. How do I get rid of it? Got these stupid emojis. I didn't ask for any of these ridiculous emojis. So, oh man. It's covering. Maybe I can go sideways. That might work. There we go. Stuart, good was on both teams to score Bremen. Well done, Stuart. That's the kind of a Hoff thing to do, Stuart. Cambridge are coming alive. Cambridge against the Shrews. So you might want to look at laying that draw in the Cambridge Shrews match yourself. I think that's a 1-2. Let's just double check that. Sometimes the in-play guru takes a while to get going. I really hope you were on the Burton. Any of you? I hope so. Gave you a strong call for them. It's still looking at 0-2, so I'm not sure what's occurring there. It still says 0-2 there. So we did have a 1-2 coming up, but I think it's 0-2. Watch out for the Hoff. They could get a third, as they tend to do, even down to 10 men. Let's have a look at the stats now. Cambridge United stand out. Still, it's quiet. Still, no shot on target second half. Look at how St. Pauli are putting Leipzig to sleep here. Where Leipzig were dominating the first half. This is what you're going to be worried about when you see 3 0-0s in the last 5 matches. Yes, one of them in a friendly, but it was against Werder Bremen. So let's have a look down. Rotherham and Northampton. Don't have a strong opinion there. Wigan look like they deserve an equaliser, don't they? But any Wigan fans out there, 19th in the league, they definitely need the points, that's for sure. Stevenage and Peterborough, we know all about those second half goals, don't we? And I've laid the 0-0 there as well. Cover that 0-0. It looks as if you really should see Peterborough concede. No, I did that 2.5 goals, didn't I? Really, Peterborough need to tighten the ship against the top 10 away. Otherwise, they're in a whole heap of bother. Bromley and Crewe. Werder Bremen goal has been disallowed. Bromley and Crewe been an equaliser there. Burton Albion and Bolton and Burton can get rid of that. You should have laid the draw there based on what we looked at half time. Stockport look like they're having a good time against Blackpool. I think I'll get rid of that one. Cambridge United are looking good for a lay the draw. 97 momentum now from Cambridge. Watch out. 97 momentum. And Leipzig had the goal, and I didn't lay the draw. And it's perfect timing, isn't it? Again, I should have said 60th plus minute. And it's a 66 minute. So my mistake is doing this live stream. I can't keep tabs on my plays. Should have laid that draw, shouldn't I? Because look at this now. So I hope you got on 60th plus minute. Sometimes I have to facilitate this. I've just got to sort that out now as well, because I've made a bit of a Horlicks of that. So excuse me for a second. So I hope you got on that lay the draw. Let me know if you did. Dave has laid the draw, Stevenage and Peterborough. I hope it will come in for you, Dave. But Peterborough, one of those sides who can make it difficult for us to read them. So I hope you laid the draw, Leipzig and St. Pauli. It was certainly on my radar to do it, and after the 60th minute, but I get a little bit distracted by doing this, which is a pity. But I hope you're profiting. That's the main thing. So that goal is in now for Leipzig, and it's likely to be a 0-2, 0-3 scenario there. Perfectly timed as well. 62nd minute against Heidenheim, and 66th minute here. I should have got in at the 60th minute had I not been distracted. That would have been an excellent entry point. You get a free punt, and you can see the draw odds rise to 5.5, even if you're going for a simple lay the back trade. Really good stuff there from Leipzig. Likely to be the end of that match there, I would suspect. So these lay the draws, I hope you're profiting from them. And we still haven't had any reaction yet from Luton Town against 10-man Terriers. This is the manager is going to be going spare, because if we take a look now at English League One, you'll see the importance of that Huddersfield win. It takes the gap between them and Luton a lot bigger to 5 points. Now that's vital, particularly as it's the last playoff place. And Luton are way back down here now in 9th place, with a whole heap of teams able to catch them and overtake them. So this is an awful performance from Luton Town against 10 men. Dire. This could be season-changing for them. This could be a season-changing win for the Terriers. They get a win here, get another win, they'll be up to 48, knocking on the door of that vital 50-plus point mark. 5 out of the top 6 favourites are winning today. 5 out of the top 6 in English League One are winning. Superb stuff. We're going to see whether Luton will come alive, because if they do equalise, Huddersfield's odds will move markedly. And Rotherham had the goal. Rotherham odds on favourites. Well, not odds on, 2.05 favs. Get the goal against Northampton. Don't know enough about these two. But they were pre-match 2.05 favourites. And it's a must-take points of your nearest rival match. Now Northampton will be getting dragged back into that relegation zone under, is it Kevin Nolan? The Kevin Nolan? that's going to be all sorts of bother for Northampton, dropping that point or 2 points. Looking through elsewhere, Stevenage and Peterborough, 1.61 XG. I think I'm right going for the 2.5 goals here, just in case this doesn't pan out. Keeps your liability low. Salford and Chesterfield. Salford second place, got plenty to aim for in English League Two. We can have a look at the 0-0s there. So Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. Just have a look at their second half scoring record. See if there's a bracket where we get the most goals scored and conceded, where you can enter the market. In-play Guru shot stats are way out with the Opta stats on the Stevenage match, says Dave. I do tend to rely on these quite a lot. Different. These look quite good, don't they? But you say they're way out. You can compare them, I suppose, if you wanted to, with what you're seeing here to give you an indication. But they have tended to be quite accurate for me in Play Guru. So we've got 7 total shots, 5 on, 2 big chances. We don't have the shots off target will be 2. So this looks about right. Where are we? 4 shots on, 4 shots off. This, 5 shots in total. 3 total shots, 1 shot on, 1 big chance, 2 corners. In total, 7 total shots, 5 shots on. So it looks about right, doesn't it? The XG of 0.96 compared to 0.96 here. So your Opta stats, I would personally, I find the in-play Guru to be trustworthy enough for me to put my dough on them. So I'm quite happy to take this at its word. Don't forget to look at the timings of these stats as well, because you don't want to be over-reliant on these when they're all first half. Now, Salford City are coming alive in second place. So we can have a look at whether there is a second half goal habit for these two, whether they've had recent 0-0s, that kind of a thing. So let's take a look at these. And it's been a really good performance recently, but a recent 0-0 against Fleetwood and a recent 0-0 for Chesterfield as well. A couple of 0-0s at half time for Chesterfield. The last one was a 2-1. A couple of 0-0s recently for Salford were very quiet. 1-0, 75th minute penalty and a 0-0. So that's not very nice. And another 1-0 here. So Salford are reverting to Tony Poulis football. No defeat in 7 at home. No goal conceded in 3. Scored in the last 10 away. Have Chesterfield. That's quite something. Where are these two relative to each other? Second against 9th. Trouble for Salford against 9th. They've lost already and have lost to 10th and 11th. But Chesterfield do tend to concede against the top 8 away from home, including a terrible 2-goal concession habit as well. So we will see. The goal times might give us an indicator here. That could be your entry point there, could it? 75th minute, if you're willing to wait that long for Salford. You've lost the sound, have you? Have you lost the sound? Has everyone lost the sound? Let me know. Microphone. Has everyone lost the sound? Or just the one of you? Sound is fine, says William. William and Stuart says sound is fine. So maybe refresh your browser, Dave. Maybe refresh your browser, Dave. So for everyone else, the sound is fine. It's just something wrong with Dave. So it might be something that's specific to your website. So something specific to your laptop, perhaps. So just check with everyone else, and they seem to be okay. So Salford, 75th minute could be the entry point if we can get that far for 0-0. 5 0-0s at halftime home, two at full time, 4 0-0s at halftime away, none at full time. So we should be seeing a second half goal here. Maybe you might have to be patient and wait for that 75th minute where Salford really get to work. It's only 10, 12 minutes away. Dave says it's okay now. That's great. I'm glad of that. So the mighty Hoff, up to you if you wanted to look at Werder Bremen doing something here. But the Hoff at 1.91 tend to deliver. I did tell you I expected wins for the Hoff and Leipzig this morning. Just wonderful odds as well if you're putting them in a double, that kind of a thing. My other banker-ish would have been Cambridge United. I say ish because it's the English League One, English League Two. Newport County and Accrington Stanley got a red card now, so I'll get rid of that match. Rotherham have the equaliser in a match which is wavering between both teams. You can see the momentum up, down, up and down. Wycombe and Wigan, nothing much to report there. 1.91 home favourite delivering. And it's gone off the boil for Plymouth, hasn't it? Really gone off the boil momentum-wise for them. All of their work has really come in the first half there. Stevenage and Peterborough, I'm glad I've gone over 2.5 goals at low liability here. I don't know if did I lay over 0.5 goals? Let's see. Leipzig, I should have played 60th minute. That was one which got away. Let's have a look here. That's the wrong Peterborough. No, I didn't lay over 0.5 goals. Had I done at half time, it would have been about 1.4 or thereabout, or 1.3-ish. I went 2.5 goals, and it's a low liability, just in case. Peterborough, who have been difficult to read of late, they've been winning when they're not favoured, and they've been losing when they've been strong favourites. So that's the reason why I was a little cautious. Notts County make it 2-1 against Swindon. Doncaster and Cardiff, job done for these two. So I can get rid of those two matches, I think. Already got rid of them. So Stevenage and Peterborough laying over 2.5 goals. Laying under 2.5 goals, I think, was a better angle in case they spluttered as they have today. Salford and Chesterfield, 75th minute will be the key. If Salford are to score, they score the vast majority of their goals then. I don't like laying these 0-0s in this lower tier. That's just, scary. No shots on target yet from Luton Town against Huddersfield at 1.57. This is the manager's going to be going spare with this if they can't get a result. Stuart wants another Como goal. Well, if you trust the cup, Stuart, it's a difficult one to read. On paper, if it was Serie A, I'd be all over Como today. 48th minute. You might get something. They've come from behind already to get the equaliser. So you might get something out of that. Crawley Town are waking up. 102 momentum. 5th against 20th in the league. Do you trust a side 20th in the league? We can have a look at their scoring, or you want to have a quick go like this and see if they score, and then you can cash out. I can show you if you want a quick in and out. Walsall against Crawley, you can have a little go at 4.8, and if they can convert, great. If they don't convert, then you can cash out. So let's see if we can get that 100 plus working for us. So keep an eye on that Crawley momentum. If it stays up and they can convert it to a goal, we will profit. If it starts dropping, we can get out. Okay. So that's an idea you can use with the momentum is to just hop on while they're at 100 plus, which is the key really for momentum results. Accrington taking advantage of the red card. Now we've got a red card for Grimsby against Colchester. So that could be something to look at there. Grimsby and Colchester. So I've got to find that match just to see if we're going to get a reaction, because we haven't got a reaction from Luton at all. There's a Colchester and Grimsby. So we need a reaction from Colchester to see whether they can do what Luton couldn't do. We've still got that 112 for Crawley Town, and you can see it's only a 40p loss. So it's a decent idea, isn't it? Can they convert that into a goal? The highest momentum there, and they've had waves of momentum during the match, considering they're 20th in the league. You can see the obvious need for goal, and Burton have made it 1-1. So the lay the draw was Bolton Wanderers scoring first because you got the odds move there. Now we've got the possibility of a late lay the draw. But we know Burton Albion have already done what we expected them to do this match. What they've done all season was to concede a second half goal, as they have done on 9 separate occasions. So keeping an eye on this, and it's even gone down to 0.41 pence. So while it remains around this mark, you can stay in and see whether Crawley Town can convert that momentum into a goal. 108 it remains. Can they do it? Can they do it? While it remains like this, I'll stay in. Once it starts plummeting, I'll cash out and make a 40p loss or something like that. Because you've got to strike while the iron's hot, as they say. You've got to get there. Werder Bremen running out of time to get that goal against the mighty Hoff. But this is what you get from the Hoff. 2 or 3 goals when they are favoured by the market. Even when they're 2.05, which is not 100% favoured by the market. Elsewhere, well, Stevenage and Peterborough have made the right move, haven't I? 2.5 goals with a £7 liability there instead of a £40 liability on laying the draw. Peterborough probably realising that they keep losing to the top 10 heavily, parking the bus. And this is what I'm talking about, inconsistent teams. Like Man United were under Amorim. You couldn't read them. This, they were odds on favourite at home. This, they were the underdog away from home and won comfortably. So what do you do with the posh? Now they're suddenly parking the bus against a top 10 side that they normally concede 2 goals to quite easily. Werder Bremen, 105 momentum. If you wanted to lay the mighty Hoff, you'll get very low odds about that. You can see Crawley now moving under the 100 marker. And it's only a 20p loss there. As long as it remains 0-0. You can do the same with Werder. If you're going to see a late capitulation from the Hoff, the liability is extremely low. And if you can capture that goal, then you'll be set up. You'll be set up for a possibility of a 2-2. So this is going exactly as I expected, to be perfectly honest with you. It still remains at 96. That's at 113. So if you want to play the momentum, that's the way to do it, as long as we don't get the opponent scoring. It's consistent pressure from Crawley Town. They need the points desperately, 20th point. But Walsall themselves need the points. Werder Bremen, if they can make that 1-2 now, we'll have a bit of time and a bit of extra time for them to make it 2-2. That would be very nice indeed, but we will see. I think they've had a recent 2-2 head-to-head. Well, 3-4 recently, 2024. Normally the Hoff deliver against Werder Bremen, but the last 2 were friendlies. Anything else to do? Well, Wickham, odds on, delivering. Stevenage and Peterborough done the right thing there, went overs. for a small liability because they're unreliable. Salford and Chesterfield heading to the 75th minute. So keep an eye out. This is where Salford, if they are going to score, they will score. But you've seen the recent performances at home, 0-0 and a 1-0 recently. That 1-0 was a penalty. So yes, 0-0 is in play. So well worth delaying. Crawley are back up to 122. Really piling on the pressure here. They could be caught on the break if they don't deliver on this 120 momentum. Similar story with Werder Bremen. But if Crawley don't deliver on this, they might be caught on the break. Now you can see it's dropping a little bit, but still, it's not costing us anything. 20p so far. But you're going to get a nice odd swing if they can deliver on that, because they're about even Stevens now with the draw as the favourite. So that's the best way to keep your liability in check and see if they can capture that goal. How long has it remained on the 100 pluses? For quite some time. Normally these sides do deliver. We've got a shot on target finally from Luton Town. Huddersfield might be liable a little bit later on. I would say I would go for 1.25 or lower with Huddersfield. Luton need to take something off their nearest rival today. This could determine the playoff places between these two. It's such an important game for Luton Town, and against 10 men, they really should have taken advantage. We're keeping an eye on Colchester as well. They'll be the blue momentum. They haven't turned up, so that's a slight concern there. Again, playing 10 men, Grimsby. Pre-match, 2.35 favs as well, Colchester. And again, got to take points off your near rival to try to get up that playoff place. So disappointing for the teams playing 10 men who need points. They're just not delivering, are they? Just a slight hint that Luton Town are above Huddersfield in the momentum there. Still remaining 118, Crawley Town. No wonder they're 20th in the league. Got old Mr. Magoo playing up front for them, it seems. Just not delivering on that momentum. Just looking elsewhere. I'll keep an eye on the matches. There's old Como. It's a very quiet Como performance today. It's very lackluster. Their Serie A performances against these type of sides, they would be 2-0 wins by half time. So this is a different performance today. It's a cup performance, isn't it? It's a not bust a gut performance. I'll put the Burton match back up. Elsewhere, the very strong favourites are delivering quite comfortably today, as you can see. Newport and Accrington Stanley, well, the red card. This is what we're looking at. This is how to do it. Accrington Stanley. Take advantage and then get the win. We're getting the shots off target from Colchester, but not the shots on. We're not getting that huge momentum. Now it's dropped down to 80s. It could be an opportunity for you to get out there, because we need them to really score that goal when it reaches that figure. And when they can't do it, you get out of jail. It still remains 0-1. St. Pauli have had a recent 1-1 at the end of a match. So while it remains this tight, and a desperate need for points as well from St. Pauli, but this is going the way I expected. And I should have laid that draw because it would be a perfect play, wouldn't it? And it was the right time, 66-minute goal there. Werder Bremen, well, 10 minutes extra time. Can they score a goal? We could have done with a goal in about the 85th minute, and then at 10 minutes extra time against 10 men. That would have been rather juicy for a possible 2-2 there. Salford waking up now. This is the moment where they're going to score, if they are going to score. 75th minute onwards, just to remind you. 7 goals scored in the 75th minute onwards. But this is why I'm not pulling the trigger. It's far too many tight matches. 8th minute goal there. 0-0 there. 75th minute penalty there. All a cluster at home of not conceding, but having real trouble scoring that single goal. add into that a 0-0 recently for Chesterfield. We've got a goal, Stevenage against Peterborough. So if you did lay the draw, I think, was it Michael or Dave laid the draw? The goals come a little bit too early, or too late, really, to impact the 2.5 goals. You can see there. But if you did lay the draw, the right team has scored first and at the right time, because look at the draw odds now. Zoom. The draw odds have risen this high quite simply because of the timing of the goal and the fact the home favourite scored first. And the market knows Peterborough against the top 10 are awful. And there's the goal that Stewart was after. Como have made it 1-2 against Fiorentina. Really, on paper, banker material. I did say in the video this morning, Leipzig, Hoffenheim and Como in a treble away from home looked very hot indeed, didn't it? And at good odds as well, 2.05 for the Hoff. Let's have a quick look at Crawley Town. Gone back down to 90 now. They just haven't delivered, have they? So no harm has been done. You can have a look. No harm has been done. You can get out there with that 93 pence loss. We were involved while they were on the hundreds, which is normally when you're going to be scoring goals. They didn't score. Hey, so what? Cost us absolutely nothing. So nothing to worry about. So we're delighted with that. Salford, you can see the recent runs of 0-0s and 1-0s at home and 2 shots on target only. Yes, lots of go with shots off target, but not for me, not at these odds. 1.25, yes. Stuart did the treble as well. Good stuff, Stuart. But you might want to lay Leipzig maybe, or just to cover that one, because it might be a little troubling if St. Pauli pull off a late equaliser with the momentum dropping like a stone. If Leipzig get to 1.1, you can lock in your stake at least on the treble and lay Leipzig to cover that stake. And there we go. I've just told you. Bang. So, wow. Talk about Mystic Meg. Yeah. When you do trebles like this in the future, and you've got a precarious 0-1 lead, lay it off on Betfair. Okay? Exactly. There it is. There's that penalty for St. Pauli. It didn't look like it was going to be a 0-3, did it? It didn't look like that. So please, in the future, lay it off. Lay it off. 1.2 odds or thereabouts. At least lay it to cover your stake. That way, that's you're using Betfair against the bookmaker then. And you're covering your backside in case a relegation threatened side, keeping aside to a single goal, pulls off a late one, as you've just seen there. So you can't legislate for penalties, I'm afraid. Martin Cars. So give him the old fist for spoiling that acca. But don't forget about that in the future. Use Betfair Exchange to lay off your stake in future when you've done a treble. 2 of them are coming. One of them is a precarious 1 goal in it. And then you can cover that and you come out scot-free. Let's bring up the Salford match because I'm going to be going late-ish with that one. 0-0 or a 1-0 perhaps. Not really worth doing. 1-0 you might want to start. Just working the 1-0 with a quid. Just topping it up gradually. You're assuming that Salford would be the team to score. The draw, a little bit too high for me at 1.48. I would get involved at 1.45. But 1-0 might be the go-to scoreline here. If you wanted to have a tickle, you could even go as low as 50p. Just keep building it up as you go along with each few minutes. Build up your principal there. Keep your liability low there. So if you capture the winner, great. But you do know that they've had a recent performances of 0-0s and 1-0s. So they could do another underperformance today, as you can see there. Harrogate 1, Fleetwood 1. And what a gutter that is. 93rd minute penalty. Typical of a relegation threatened side at home, pulling it off. So I really hope you will think about hedging in the future, because that would have been that would be the ideal. And I wish I got that to you a little bit earlier before that goal came in. Rotherham have come from behind to make it 2-1. That's going to be a vital match for them now, because Northampton are going back into the relegation zone. Oh dear. They should have had a 10-man defence at that 0-1, but it's a long, long way, isn't it? Awful stuff. So the Hoff, Leipzig, not doing what they did against Heidenheim, but did get that second half goal, but you could have hedged off between then and the 90th minute, which I wish you had done. That would have covered that treble liability. Crawley Town, as we saw, that's where we wanted the goal. Now they've gone off a cliff, as you can see there. That's what you get for 20th in the league. So I did the right thing there. I didn't pile in, lay the draw. We've got a suspended market. Is that Salford scoring? It's one of our teams. Suspended match. Not coming up just yet. They've not really had any shots on target, Salford, as you can see there. Lincoln make it 3-0 against Bradford. Got another suspended, one of my markets suspended. Is that Colchester making it 1-1? That's more like it, isn't it? So if I can get that odds a little bit lower, I will be laying Grimsby, because that's the kind of reaction we want to see. 11 v 10. We don't want to see this limp reaction, do we? From Luton Town. Awful performance. That's more like it. So we can have a look at that Colchester match. And you can, while this is going on, you can just top up a little bit more in case they can pull it off. About 2 1-0s in the last 3 home matches. Just adding to that. So we're just going to see. You can do your drip lay of Grimsby if you'd like, because you know you're going to get a big move in the odds if we get that equaliser. A bit illiquid. I would start perhaps at somewhere like 1.25 here, given the fact that Colchester are showing good momentum. So 1.25 to win a tenner. 1.19 to win a tenner. 1.14 to win a tenner. 1.09 to win, what was it, 30 quid? No, it's about 23, just under 2 quid liability. And 1.06 to win about 32, yeah. So that keeps your liability, maximum liability would be 10 quid here. If we get the goal before it hits 1.25, we get all of this returned to us. This is because we're seeing 11 players with a decent go at it against 10 men, not this awful performance from Luton Town. Their manager will be disappointed, to put it mildly. So we'll get rid of that. Notts County and Swindon, not really any interest there. Plymouth and Mansfield, we've got a lot of XG, positive XGs. That's what we were expecting of Stevenage, to score 2+ goals today. But if you did lay the draw there, the right team scored. So you're okay. Bolton and Burton, well, both sides desperate need for a win. Very, very equal. 1 shot on, 10 off, 4 corners each. So it's very, very equal. 38 to 53. We've had more attacks from Burton Albion here. Will Bolton get a late one? Not the main angle for the Burton one was for Burton to concede a goal. That was the main angle. So it wasn't to lay any late Bolton draw. It was to lay the draw and hope that Bolton or Burton concede first, which they did. That was your main trading angle here. But we can have a look. 75th to 90th minute, and you can see whether we're going to get any fun and games here. Just looking at the goal times. Bochum and Werder Bremen are a terrible side. The Hoff had 11. They would have severely spanked them. Indeed. They're not the greatest. You can see their recent form is awful. And looking at Bolton, well, 9 goals conceded for Burton Albion in the last half an hour, 5 in the last 15 minutes. Any draw sequences? Not really. No draw in 6 for Burton Albion. It's up to you. 3 points for both of these two sides could change their seasons. So that's a huge motivator. 1.09, 1.06 would be the best way to play this one. And you can see still with Salford, they're not doing anything, are they? You can top them up a little bit more in case they pull off a late win. No, they're up to 9s. You can put 50p on that. And you can see it. You can see it up to 12 quid now for a £2.50 liability. So at least you'll make something if they score a late goal. If they don't, that's what you want to see. Look from Colchester, 114 against 10 men. It's not what you're seeing from Luton Town at all, is it? So that augurs very well for the possibility of a late equaliser. That's what you want to see when it's 11v10. Pre-match, it was 2.35 home favourite as well. So they do need to take a point off Grimsby. They're a little bit too near to them league position-wise as well. MK Dons just scraping over the line against Bristol Rovers. Bolton, well, it's not really got this kind of momentum late on, has it? Which you'd like to see late on in a match. Get rid of the old Perry Como. Done the job, you'd expect. Fiorentina really need to focus on the league, and Como are just excellent against those types of sides, really getting consistent wins there. So it's really to see whether Colchester can pull it off late on. Can they do it with only a few minutes left? Really good momentum from them against 10 men, 16 shots off target. It's probably going to cost them. That's the problem. Make it 17 shots off target. 2 on, only the 1 in the second half. But look at this, 130. Can they deliver? Cambridge have the goal against the Shrews. Did I get involved? I hope I did. Oh, I thought I would have laid a load of the late draws here. Cambridge pull it off. It's a vital goal for Cambridge, as you can see. So I hope 1 or 2 of you popped on that one, because that's got them into the beautiful 50-point barrier now, hasn't it? So look for these this season. Back them and lay the draw. We got the goal, and it's gone to Chesterfield, the bastards. Now this is an advert for neutral playing because the wrong team has scored. This is an advert for laying the draw rather than backing Salford City. There we go. Lay the draw, and it doesn't matter who scores, because at this stage, well, that's what you get, Salford, for only 2 shots on target all match. So that's a good advert for laying the draw, going neutral. Going neutral. you can see it doesn't matter who scores. Boom, you get rewarded. Harrogate Fleetwood and Bolton have a late winner against Burton. Did I get matched? Let's have a look. Did I get involved in this one? I hope so. Oh, that's another one. I didn't play. Bolton and Burton. I'm sure I had this on mine to play. Bromley and Crewe, or Crewe Alexander making it 2-2 against Bromley. That could be troublesome in English League One. There. This is the wrong one. That's English League Two. So some late goals, but everyone except Colchester. That should have been a late lay the draw, shouldn't it, really? I'm surprised I didn't place my plays, but maybe I did. Bolton has scored, says Bosun. Nice. Wanaka wins 5-fold, 20 quid, says Nick. Chesterfield 1-0. Indeed. I hope you got involved, Mango Catcher. Stuart Batman laid the draw. I'm hoping you're talking about Cambridge United there. That would have been an excellent late play. Bolton as well. This was a late lay the draw, wasn't it? I think I placed them, but they must not have got matched. Oh, what a pity, because that certainly the need for a win for both of these two sides is enormous. But just waiting for Colchester. Can they do it with 11 minutes of extra time? It's a frustrating wait. Luton Town deserve all they get today. Ridiculous reaction to playing 10 men when you need to win against Huddersfield. Awful performance from them, really is. So just waiting for Colchester to do a number. So while we're waiting for them to do that, I think I'll call it a night now. It's been a good evening. I think I'll pop on these go lives a bit more often when I can, particularly on English time. I'm heading off to Thailand next week, but I might not be there forever now. Parents are getting older. It'd be nice to be a bit nearer to them and be on English time as well, so I can get a lot more done on English time. Old Alf Barnet looking for a late winner, 13th against 17th, and they were odds on favourite pre-match as well. Are you going to do what we did with Crawley? Get involved, surf it while they're up there. Grimsby, well, I've got the lays in play. Looking at Barnet late on. There's been a lot of late goals. So let's have a look. 1.23, you can do it. You can dip your toe in with a 5, or if you fancy Barnet, well, it's too illiquid, isn't it, really? But you've just seen with Salford, it's better to lay the draw because it covers whoever scores first. William Maynard got 45 quid from Salford, lay the draw. Well done, William. Neutral play. Don't bother listening to me and my 1-0 nonsense. You lay that draw. Brilliant stuff. So a couple of them late on, and then I'll say goodbye to you. Barnet, lay the draw, and Colchester equaliser. If we can get those two in the bag, that would be great. Thanks very much, everyone, for coming along today. I hope to do a few more of these because it's been quite enjoyable. And I hope you've made some money as well from what is a tough coupon, English League One, English League Two. Have a great rest of your evening. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for coming along.